All right, everybody. Thank you for being here. Today, we're going to go over speed to lead, so the marketing automation playbook. We work specifically with painting and epoxy pros. And this is, since it's kind of about speed to lead, it assumes you're already getting leads. Obviously, that's another issue to dive into before this. So you're already getting leads, maybe calls, form fills on your website. And what happens next is where those jobs a lot of times get lost. So if you're on a ladder or talking to a customer or with your guys on a job somewhere or driving, whatever it is, and the callbacks don't happen, right? You miss the call and you're like, you make note of it, you're going to call them back, and maybe it doesn't happen for a couple hours. And the homeowner, they're probably in that process, they're in that headspace to schedule an estimate. So in the next that in the next few minutes, they've probably already reached out to other companies looking for other estimates. And they've probably, if they're calling you in the morning, they'll probably already have those 3 booked estimates with someone else by lunchtime. So in the next 30 minutes, you'll see the exact automation setup that helps get those customers and those leads booked while you're still working. At least keeps the conversation going until you're in a place where you can step in and kind of close that loop. So the cost of a slow callback, right? If you get one lead that calls, or in this case, they fill out your form online, right? Request an estimate. In about 5 minutes, she's filled out probably 2 more, right? Usually people are looking for 3 or 4 estimates. So they probably already filled out another form besides yours. That's what we see homeowners are doing. So within the next 2 hours, they're getting those estimates booked. That's their goal once they start doing that. So if you're waiting, if you don't have a process in place to make sure they're getting followed up with, when you call back, at the end of the day, or when you remember while you're driving to the next job, whatever it is, you might go to voicemail, or they're already have their estimates booked, or they're busy by that point. And so that's what we're seeing a lot of times. So my name is Matt. I run Sharpline Marketing, and we work with painting and epoxy contractors exclusively. One of our best clients that we have, we've been with them for a couple of years. In I think it was April, they got 43 leads in a single month, and of that closed $82,000 in work that month. Every one of those leads gets a follow-up in seconds, right? If they're filling out a form, they get a response right away from that form, within seconds. If they call and the call's missed, they're getting a follow-up text message right away. So they have obviously a bigger system in place than just the automation to get these kind of numbers that they're getting, but the automation is a big part in that system. Having that system in place is a big part in capturing these leads. Now, what we see is homeowners aren't, once they make the decision to book those estimates, and they're ready, they're not in that research phase, right? It's a different phase, going and doing the research on, when's the best time to paint the outside of their house, or what do I need to do to get ready to paint the interior. They've already done that and they're ready. They're like, I want to see how much this is going to cost and when I can get it done. So they're getting quotes. They're on their phone. They're requesting those quotes, 3 or 4 companies probably in just one sitting. And the first company that responds like a real business, they're going to get that estimate slot. That customer is going to schedule that. And that initial experience of how that goes makes a big difference in who gets that job. And, we've seen it a lot with clients that we get, that peak season when you're busy, it makes that worse, especially if you're trying to scale, if you're trying to grow and bring on another crew. Not having the time to respond right away when you're getting a lot of leads, in these summer months, can make this even more of a pain point. For the automation that fixes it, uh, it's it's cheap. I guess is the only way to say it. Um, it's not some crazy intricate thing anymore. It's kind of it's the budget's within reason, and it's kind of standard, right? That a lot of shops are running it, and it's uh, it easily takes jobs away from other shops that aren't running in automation or aren't following up quickly. It's something small and consistent that you can do. That once that's in place, it runs and it runs well every single time, and it's just something that is almost kind of should be across the board. And a lot of our customers and a lot of painters out there, right? If the owner's the one doing all the calls, that's when they start scaling up and bringing in another crew or trying to get more leads while they're still working. That's where we see kind of the issue happening. And these automations have got to a place where even a single crew, even a owner that's on the tools still should have these automations in place to make sure you're grabbing those leads. As homeowners aren't patient, right? They want everything at the touch of a finger. They go online. They want to schedule estimates right away and get it on their calendar. They're busy. So the easier you make that for them, the better chance you're going to have of actually getting that project. And that minute or that window from when they want to get that estimate to scheduling it's minutes. If you wait too long, they've moved on. They've got other quotes. They've scheduled them. I had to experience this as a homeowner myself. Not exactly the same thing, but our garage door spring broke. So our car was stuck inside. But I started calling around to local garage door, companies that are going to be able to come out and repair it. And there were, I do like everybody does. I go on Google and I search for garage door repair. And the top three that showed up, I just started calling them. And two of them didn't even pick up. So, obviously I'm not going to leave a message. I'm trying to get something done today. So I don't leave a message on them. The third one picks up, but they tell me they're booked out until the week after. So I can't, already the top three businesses that are in the Google listing, that top three map pack, are already off the table for me. Even though they might have the best reviews or the most reviews, they didn't pick up when I called. They didn't reach back out. So I'm already moving down to those businesses that might not show up in the top three. I might go down to page 2, and that's where I found a company that they picked up the phone. They were very clear about the process and when the guy was going to come out, and they were able to come out, later that day and actually fix the spring for us. But it will, because they had that response, because they were quick and they engaged and they were available and they walked me through the process, they got my business, even though they're not in the top 3 spots in Google. So just wanted to show that it's a good process to have in place if you're starting out, or if there's bigger companies in your area that might beat you out in those Google listings. It's a good way to capture some of those leads they might not get. So just a couple little examples here, right? Exterior repaint lead comes in, it's 10 a.m. You're on the way to a job, or you're also already working, right? And you call them back after that job's over. Call back at lunch, maybe when you're taking a break. They've already booked those other estimates, right? Just like my experience, if I was calling a garage door company and they were on a job and they called me back after, I'm like, oh, sorry, I found somebody that's coming out in an hour. So same thing with epoxy, right? And if you're closed, if the business is closed, if somebody's requesting a quote on a Saturday morning, you're not, if you're working, you're not going to stop, right? You're trying to get your work done on Saturday. Or if you're closed for the weekend, are they getting a confirmation? Hey, we got your request. We'll get back to you, as quick as possible. So having that fix is a system that is engaging with those customers for you, So the process doesn't stop with you. So the fix is that every lead should get answered within seconds. So the lead comes in, either a missed call or a website form fill, right? Those are the main two that we see. The automation should fire right away from that. So you don't want to be in that process of saying, fire off this automation or send this email or send this text, right? Even if you have it templatized or you have the same text you send to everybody, you don't want to get in the middle of it. It's an automation, automatically fires and runs 24/7 whenever a customer reaches out. So the email and text will go out within seconds for every lead, every missed call. So no exceptions on that. We have some customers, there's some clients that want to have, hourly cutoff set up. You don't want to, if somebody fills out a web form at midnight, maybe you're not sending them a response at 12:05. Maybe you send one in the next morning. But the automations can be customized to how you're more comfortable with them. Any questions so far? Is that all making sense? All right. Cool. So what do these texts say? Like I was just saying, you can customize these to whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you want them to be. However, some guys want to be a little more, get more information up front. Others are, hey, just thanks for reaching out. We'll get back to you at this day. Or you can send them to a calendar form if you have that, where a customer can book directly into your calendar. So that can change depending on what you want. Some general ones are, sorry we missed you, we're on a job. Are you looking, what are you looking to get painted? Or for epoxy, the same kind of thing. Thanks for reaching out. What's the size? Can you send a couple photos? So you're putting the ball back in their court, right? You're getting them, you're acknowledging them, you're telling them they're not being ignored, and then you're starting that conversation of what are you looking to do. So you don't always have to ask that question. It could be a next step instead. Like I was saying, you can go here and fill out this form. If you want to have a more detailed estimate form, go fill this out so we can get your details and get you scheduled. So it doesn't always have to be a question. You just need to try to move that conversation forward. So you want to go as easily as possible from the first reply to a booked estimate. So they answer that first question or they go to the form and fill out, then you're done, right? If you're saying, here, go to this form and fill out, we'll get you scheduled. That's the whole process. Maybe you send a follow-up saying, thanks, we got it. We'll get back to you to confirm everything, or we'll give you a call just to go over it to be safe. But that really streamlines it if you have a form like that or a calendar that's available for customers to book into. If you don't, the next step would be to get more of those questions. So you can make the automation kind of go through those steps of the form, ask them those questions. You can use AI in that as well to kind of make it a little easier for the customer. It's not as dry, like, what are you looking to get painted? When are you looking to get it painted? You can have AI make more of a conversation with it, but again, that's preference. It doesn't need to be that way. But if you can have that calendar to have them book a slot, that is the best way we've seen to get those estimates. Of course, you'll need to follow up, confirm with them on a phone is the best way to do it. But just to make sure, right, you don't want to waste your time going out to those estimates if they change their mind. So what the system asks, right, trade by trade, those qualifying questions we kind of just went over. How many rooms? What's your timeline? Send some photos. And you could do that with a form or kind of with the automation using AI to go through that. Or even without AI, you can still do it where it's ask a question, you get a response, and it goes to the next question. You can do that without AI, just with the simple automation. And doing this really filters people out. They're not going to go through and answer all these questions if they're not really looking for an estimate. And with this automations, we usually have it set where if you step in, the automation will stop. So it won't keep going if you call the customer. And the purpose of a lot of that automation and a lot of that follow-up is that some of these leads, they don't book right away. Maybe they'll fill out an estimate form and you'll get back to them, and maybe they filled out a bunch of estimates forms and they're not getting back to anybody yet. They did it while they were on a break at work, and then when they get home, they're going to start seeing who replied and book them at that point. So following up, having a follow-up process in place really helps with that. So the job, you don't want to be annoying about it. And again, it's something you can customize on how many emails or text messages you want to send after somebody has already reached out to you. But you want to stay top of mind, right? It's pretty rare somebody just looks for one estimate. They're going to other painters. So the sequence that we see, or that what we like to do, is have a multiple touch points. So the day one, you send a text and an email. Maybe, day two or day three, you're sending some photos in an email or some tips, things like that on how to get ready for your paint project. Or, and then after that, just doing a check-in, like, hey, are you still interested in a checkup? So on one part, you have the speed to lead, where you're making sure you're acknowledging that you received their requests, you received their inquiry to getting a paint project. You're making sure you're moving that conversation forward. And on the second side, on the back of that, you want to make sure you're following up. If they don't book in that first instance, you don't want to just forget about them. You don't want to leave them, right? You want to make sure you're following up. You don't know if they've gotten distracted or got busy or something in life happens, but you want to stay top of mind without being spammy or annoying. And we always recommend giving an easy way out. If you're not interested, we'll stop. We'll leave you alone. You don't want to bother people. But just having those processes in place that run automatically without your involvement, we've seen grabs a lot more leads that a lot of times slip through the cracks. So this is part of our overall program that we run. So of course, you can do this all on your own. You can, sign up for some software. There's a ton of different softwares that run these kinds of automations, right? Missed call text backs, follow-up sequences with emails. You can go in and set those up on your own. We have this kind of exact program, just part of a bigger foundation that we run, that we generally see gets the best results. So just having one of these doesn't work just on its own. If you just have the automated lead follow-up, but maybe you're having issues getting enough leads, or you're not showing up high enough in the search results, right? You need a good website. You need to be working on your Google profile. Some other automations that we put in place is a 5-star review funnel, so that the same type of thing happens, but on the tail end of a job, once it's done, get automations in place. And then that on-site SEO to make sure you're actually visible online and you can get those estimates in the first place. So it's a full program together to make sure you're getting leads, they're getting responded to, and you're getting the most visibility you can online in your area for the services, the specific services you offer. So this is a pretty quick work workshop today. It's pretty simple stuff when you boil it all down, right? Sending automations, making sure they're followed up with, and really just going back to my experience just with the garage door company, right? How that top company in Google that was listed, they were paying for ads. They had the top spot in the Google Map pack, but they didn't pick up their phone. And it's just one simple thing. If I would have got a text back from them, or something to move that conversation forward, even if they were already busy, allows smaller companies to be able to scale up, get more of those leads without them slipping through the cracks when you're already busy. So you can build it yourself. Like I was saying, everything in here. Happy to answer any questions you might have. You can reach out to me directly. If you're on this workshop, or if you're viewing this, you've got an email from me, so you can respond just to that email. But happy to kind of point you in the right direction on how to set that up yourself. And you can build it and get it going. And it's an automation. So, it runs without you once it's set up. If you do want help with it, like I was saying, it's part of our foundation program. We only work with painters and epoxy, so we have it built and tested, and you can customize it for your brand and your business and your voice. But we kind of have some good strategies on how many emails and how many text messages to send, that we could help out with. That foundation program is $497 a month. It's month to month. So let's see, I got another slide here. Oh, same thing though. It's a website like I was showing you on this slide. It's all these automations we talked about, the website, Google business profile, 5-star review, and the on-site SEO. So all that together is in that foundation program. And those automations, they're always a good thing to have, always. If you aren't getting enough leads, or you aren't really getting leads yet, I wouldn't recommend putting a lot of time and effort into it, because that time and effort could be put into, door hangers, yard signs, things to get you more leads first, and more Google reviews first before you start worrying about speed to lead. So if you are already getting leads, calls, form fills, and maybe you think, or you're experiencing crappy leads, you're like, they're not calling me back, or I'm not able to close any of them, or they're not actually requesting estimates. This might be something good to put in place. And even that follow-up sequence, like, hey, have you got your house painted? Just checking in. It's been a week. Getting top of mind like that, that might be, I'd say this would be for you. But if not, fix that visibility first. Make sure you're showing up before you really dive in and worry about this. So if you want, you can book a strategy session on our website, sharplinemarketing.com. I'm happy to walk through it with your business specifically. Even if you're not interested, I'm not going to, if you don't need our help, a lot of this stuff you could definitely do on your own. I'm happy to kind of point you in that right direction. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions. But yeah, the 4 main things I would say to take with you on this is speed can help win those jobs in minutes. You need to be responding, have something in place to let those customers know, you're paying attention. So that instant text back can answer for you, or an email, send that back right away. So that automation can help you even qualify. And if you have a calendar that you can let customers book on, right, that even moves it another step further. And then the follow-up. That follow-up keeps working after you've moved on to the next job or forgotten. If they didn't respond, you can keep that lead alive just to make sure, right? Just as a safety net. So, maybe they maybe you can get some more leads next month from it. So hopefully that all made sense. Like I said, book a strategy. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Yeah, happy to talk you through it. And I appreciate all your time. Thank you for coming. We'll see you on the next one.